1, 2, 3, listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rose, and we are live on the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Today, touring the borough of Islington. This is the home of Emirates Stadium, and it's an incredible, incredible borough. I want to talk more about that later. Today, I am going to be answering the London mayoral debate questions. Yes, these were the questions that the BBC asked the British Broadcasting Corporation that your taxes pay for to 4 candidates in this past week. They chose 4 candidates, and they didn't choose me to participate in these debates, even though I have been in second place for the past 6 months. Our independent voice seems to scare them. It seems to terrify the two-party system, the mainstream media, the pollsters. Everyone doesn't know what to do with our independent voice. And so today, I'm going to answer for you the 6 questions that were posed on the BBC, because my answers are much better than what you heard blithered out by the Labour, the Conservative, the Lib Dems, and the Greens. The truth is, all 4 of these candidates are being paid right now by your tax dollars to have the same arguments every single month over at the Greater London Assembly. You pay their salaries, they show up, it's basically show business for them. They put on this farcical debates or these farcical arguments over at City Hall, and nothing changes in this city. Are you frustrated? Because I'm frustrated, and I'm a citizen first. I'm a candidate for mayor second, and I want the best for our city, and this is unacceptable. I want to be a part of this debate, so I decided to just co-opt it today. So I'll be answering these questions. Again, these are the exact questions that were asked from the 4 candidates, and I'll give you my take on it. And again, all of this stuff comes from my manifesto for the future. And this is the document I've now been accused of always having in my coat pocket by a young man on the street in Islington. He said, "Brian, every time I see you, you pull this out." Well, the truth is that I couldn't be more proud of this document. It's a 8 months of work. It's a 50-page detailed document about everything what we want to do for this city. And my answers today will mainly be coming from here because I've already done the hard work. And so I would have been ready there at the BBC to answer those questions, but they didn't have us there, and that's okay. I'm going to answer them for you today. So again, want to thank Islington for having us. I just had an incredible conversation with Matthew Barber, and he is one of the members of the Urban Hope Youth Center. He spends really long hours and tireless efforts trying to give our youth better options, better things they can do with their time besides going into a life of crime or going to the gangs. And yet, he's been squeezed by the current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who has closed down over 100 community centers in the past 5 years. He's sacked youth workers. He's taken away the budget that would allow people like Matthew to do their jobs in Islington. I met with the gentleman over at Wally Foster Community Center. I met with Eliza down at Lives Not Knives charity in Croydon. This is something that is happening all around this city, and yet the mayor doesn't talk about it while he's campaigning for your re-election vote. He decides to highlight other things that he's supposedly doing, his pop-up policies that suddenly he has budget for after he defunded the police by £110 million and defunded the fire brigade by about £25 million. Do you remember that 6 months ago? And yet now, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before the election, he all of a sudden has a lot of money to put towards this policy or that policy to try to prove to you he's the best candidate. He's clearly not. He's failed this city when it comes to crime, transport, housing, and also trying to rebuild this economy. He's doing a horrible job. And why would we expect him to do a good job? He's never run a business in his life. He's been a civil servant for 18 years. He only knows how to get reelected. And let's try not to make that happen on May 6th. So again, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be going through these debate questions today and also talking to you. We got 6 days left, and I'll be talking about some of the urgent things that are happening. But again, as I mentioned before, here's our manifesto for the future. You've probably seen a picture of it before, but you can go to brianformayor.london/manifesto if you want to look into it. And it's all my solutions for rebuilding the economy, for putting 10,000 officers on the street. We're going to abolish the congestion charge. We're going to run TfL at a profit. And we're also going to build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas. I've also got initiatives hidden here to make London completely digital, free broadband for all, and to get devices to our children, especially those living in poverty in boroughs like Lewisham and even Islington, where children are living in poverty in this city. And yet the current mayor of London never brings that up when he's trying to get reelected. He has failed us in every single metric. And don't be fooled by the press releases. Don't be fooled by the PR moves. It's all failure when it comes to him, and it's time to take London in a new direction. Again, check out my manifesto. It speaks for itself. I am confident that if every single Londoner had a copy of this 50-page document in their hand, and it's actually really good to read. My 4-year-old son, Caden, has already completed it. He's reading it for the second time. There's a lot of good pictures, but it's a great way to really realize what's wrong with your city and how we can all fix it together. I have a 10, 20-year timeline that I'm looking at to try to make London a great place that I can live in, my children can live in, and I can build my business in, and I can be proud to call home. And that's what this manifesto is all about. So get that copy. I'll be talking about some of these things today as well. So we have got 6 days left until this election in London. I couldn't believe this has happened. We have been out here campaigning for over 6 months. I've been driving this digital battle bus over 5,000 miles through every single one of the 32 boroughs. I've been there twice now. We're going back for the 3rd time. It's been absolutely amazing. And we are still in 2nd place according to every major bookmaker in the world. These are global bookmakers. They still see us as the 2nd place candidate. And that's a really important thing to remember, because we really are there in 2nd place, moving into 1st. And it's an important thing to remind ourselves of that we really are a contender here. And we plan on winning this on May 6th. And creating one of the biggest upsets in British political history. We couldn't be more excited about that. So moving forward, make sure you and your friends vote on May 6th. It's on Thursday. Schedule a time in your calendar. Do it in the morning. Do it in the evening. Make sure you make that happen, because it's an important day. And if you don't vote, or if you vote for the wrong candidate, you are basically getting 3 more years of the same thing. Can you imagine 3 more years of increasing knife crime? Can you imagine 3 more years of a bankrupt transportation network? Can you imagine 3 more years of housing at skyrocket prices, no housing available whatsoever? Can you imagine 3 more years of the worst depression in 300 years? That's what we're experiencing right now in our London economy. I can't, and I don't want it, which is why we're voting for change, fresh ideas, and an independent voice. And that's me, Brian Rose of the London Real Party. And lend us your vote on May 6th. I promise you, we will have a great future. And I've been speaking with all sorts of amazing people on my social media lately. A lot of you have seen my Instagram lives I've been doing with many of my London Real guests for the past 10 years. And if you haven't been following everything we've been doing, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I've been having conversations with over 1,000 of the most incredible minds in the world. You could be an athlete, an activist, or an author. I'll have you on my show so you can learn much from that. And here's a picture here of my Instagram live yesterday with Elle Mcpherson. She is a supermodel. She is a businesswoman and influencer, and just an all-around incredible, incredible woman who's had an incredible career of, one of the top entrepreneurs, beauty professionals, wellness experts in the world, and she's still going strong. And as you can see there, she was chilling with her Brian for Mayor mug, and she's been sporting our swag on our social platforms. And Elle has been a massive supporter of us for the past year. She was a big supporter when we fought against freedom of speech last year. She praised the work we did with our digital freedom platform and to make sure that we could still live stream uncensored content. And it was great to have Elle's support back then, and it's great to have her support as the next mayor of London. She lived in London for 17 years, so she really understands the problems we face, and she understands that I have those solutions, and we had a great conversation. So please tune into that. Also, if you're struggling with your own wellness, she is really an expert, and we talked about everything from what you eat to physical movement to gratitude practices, affirmations, you name it. I also spoke with Rose McGowan 2 days ago. Rose has been a guest on London Real as well. An incredible thought leader who really is about fighting back against the system and making sure her voice is heard, and that's what we're doing here as well. And I've had all sorts of people. Martin Ford, the incredible actor and Hulk of a man. I've had mob boss Michael Franzese, Olympic breakdancer Menno. I had former WWE champion Diamond Dallas Page. I had entrepreneur and broadcaster Patrick Bet-David, former Mr. Olympia competitor Flex Wheeler, and I got more people coming this week. The boxers, I'm going to get David Hay and Derek Chisora on next week after they're done with their big fight coming up on Saturday, and wishing Derek Chisora all the best up against Parker on Saturday. I'm predicting a 6th round KO from Derek Chisora coming on Saturday. So all the best to my guys there. And Derek's a good friend. My boys get to see him when we go out for cookies in Hampstead. And they've been saying, where's Derek recently? I'm like, Derek is busy working on a fight. And they're like, a fight? So they're going to watch you fight for the first time on Saturday, Derek. And we appreciate you and everything you're doing. So that's what's been going on with us. Again, 6 days left. We've got a lot of manifestos we're getting out there and a lot of leaflets that we're dropping on all sorts of people in London. And we're also back on the outdoor billboards and digital media displays. I know a lot of you saw my face all around London for weeks on end, and now we've got a different version of my face because we are featuring the London Real Party. And you're going to see the 4 candidates that we are fielding for the Greater London Assembly, and this shows our long-term commitment to local politics. The London Real Party is here to stay. We are going to be a political force of change for the next 100 years in this city, and this is to show that we are here, and these are 4 incredible people that are going to change the game here in London, and we couldn't be more proud. If you see pictures of our outdoors for the London Real Party, pictures of me and my colleagues, take a picture of it. Hashtag London Real Party, hashtag Brian for Mayor. Let us know what you saw it out there and put it on your social. I'd love to see it and repost it as well. Right now we're heading over to the Meridian Steps. We're going to drop by Cromwell Road. We're going to drop by Old Street as well, and we're going to go see some of these outdoors, and we couldn't be more proud. But it doesn't stop there. You will see us in full-page Technicolor prints on the Metro next week. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you will see a full-page ad for the London Real Party, and it's because we want to let people know that we plan on winning on Thursday. And this is so serious for us and so important, and so we are going all out to make sure every single Londoner knows and is reminded that I am the candidate for change. I am the candidate if you are sick and tired of government, if you're sick and tired of the party politics, if you're sick and tired of the Sadiq and Boris show, back and forth while real Londoners pay the price with our bankrupt transport systems, with our lack of affordable housing, with our children being stabbed to death in the streets, all while they bicker back and forth to try to find out which one of them wants to become your next prime minister. That's not fair for the citizens of London. There's nearly 10 million of us, and we won't stand for it. So if you want that change, we are the voice of change. Vote Brian Rose and the London Real Party on May 6th. I promise I will shake things up. I will bring all of my incredible policies. And of course, we'll kick off with the great celebration in August. 31 days of street fairs and music festivals, 20 million people safely in London. We're going to have our best year ever as an economy of London, and that's going to help everyone in every single capacity. So look out for those ads. We're very excited. And of course, go to the brianformayor.london website. It's where you can find this manifesto on the top nav bar. That website has now been visited over 8.4 million times. Can you imagine? That is leaps and bounds ahead of any other candidate's website. And yet I'm not invited to the debates. We'll get into that soon. It's been shared over 1 million times. It is the most popular website of any candidate for mayor. What does that tell you? People want to engage in our ideas. People are supporting us, and we hear it everywhere. And I've also heard a new rumor from behind the scenes, and I thought I would share it with you, just between you and me, is that we have heard from some senior sources in some very high places that Sadiq Khan is not as popular as the polls say he is or as the media says he is. And you've seen recently he's putting out videos saying, make sure you vote for me, make sure you don't vote for the other parties, we don't want to split the vote. He is very nervous in City Hall because he sees that our numbers are gaining. And again, we all know that the polls are doing a horrible job of reflecting our popularity in the streets. We've been out here for nearly 7 months in your boroughs, talking to you, listening to you. My manifesto is a result of you speaking to me. I don't create these policies and try to project them on you. I'm listening to you. And so remember that we are out there, and part of what I want to do is make sure that you are listened to, and we are much further ahead than the polls say they are, than the media says we are. And make sure that you remember that. It's going to be a very, very close race. Every vote's going to be important. If you can get out on May 6th and cast your vote, we will win this race. And we'll go down to City Hall the next day and we'll start taking care of business. And that I promise you. Last thing I wanted to say is feature just some of the incredible press we continue to get. So here's some shots here from the Evening Standard. Again, front page news on the Evening Standard. So we always thought maybe the media would try to ignore us, but they can't because we're so popular with you on the streets. And of course we see they lead with the breakdancing ex-banker trying to be our next mayor. You can see on the inside here, you've got all of the headlines, my £1 million bid to become your next mayor of London. And let me speak about that really quickly. I am the only candidate who's willing to put his own money on the line here. And think about that. Even the current mayor of the Labour Party and the Conservative candidate, they don't even put their own money. He probably didn't even put £5 of his own money on the line. He tapped it from all those corporate donations that come from his party for all those backroom deals. Not me. I'm taking my own money that I worked very hard for in the City of London, and I'm putting it towards getting these ideas out there to take London in a new direction. That makes me different than any of the candidates out there, and I'm very proud of that. It also means that I don't answer to anyone. I don't have a corporate donor, I don't have a major donor, I don't have any major donors. So I choose the ideas, and everything here comes from the best ideas, because the best ideas win, and they come from you. They come from senior members of the Metropolitan Police. They come from senior members of TfL. They come from people in the House of Lords, architects, bankers, entrepreneurs, economists, scientists, doctors, Nobel Prize winners. It's all in here, and I couldn't be more proud. And you probably see some more pictures of this from the newspaper, but you see pictures of me in the studio. The battle bus as well, you can see that is back, and of course, a great picture of me and my incredible wife, Mariana. She's been supporting me from day one on this journey, and I couldn't be more proud of her. So thank you so much to the media that's been covering us. Yesterday, I had 3 major media appearances that are going to be dropping in newspapers and online outlets across the spectrum. It was fascinating. It was really right across the spectrum, from left-leaning to right-leaning to right in the middle. And I told my story with passion, with direction, and I couldn't be more proud of where we've become or the decisions I've made as a leader, as a businessman, and as a mayor. And it was great to finally be featured, and we've got more media coming as well. I'm even going to be appearing in my local television channel from San Diego, California. All the international press is now watching this race, so we're featured in Bulgarian press. Now in the United States, they're covering us, and a bunch of other countries around the world have now expressed interest because they see me as the mayor for the future. They like these ideas, and they know that an independent voice is how we're going to change the world, and we're very excited about that. So again, here's a picture of some of our outdoor ads if you haven't seen them before, and this is me on the Cromwell Road with some of our incredible digital outdoor. Now we've got the London Real Party stuff that's up there. Make sure you take a picture of it and push the hashtag out as well. And again, I just wanted to play this short video for you. This is a video of some of our outdoor ads, and it just goes to show you how serious we are about this campaign. We are all in. We're doing everything we can. And here's a quick video of what some of those outdoor assets look like. There you go, big, beautiful outdoor ads, and more of those are coming. And I was talking to a journalist yesterday, and he said, Brian, I kept seeing your face everywhere. You know, what are you doing? Like, how is this even possible? And I said, it's possible because I care. I care about this city. And the one missing ingredient that we don't talk about that's in this pamphlet is love. The reason we care so much to spend 8 months of our time and create a 50-page document is because we love London. And that might sound like a strange thing to say, but I don't see the current mayor of London, I don't think he has any love for London or Londoners. This is a job. It's the only job he can get. It's the only job he can keep. And I don't see the passion there, but there is passion here. And I think that's an important factor when you go to choose your vote and choose your candidate on May 3rd, May 6th, so don't forget that. A couple more things I want to show off. I am, of course, on the back of the digital battle bus, and here's a picture of what this battle bus. So wherever you see this bus, take a picture, hashtag Brian for Mayor. I want to send you a Brian for Mayor coffee cup. I want to send you a t-shirt. I want to send you some other swag. And by the way, this is just some of the swag that we're sending out here. This is a t-shirt from the London Real Party. And all of this stuff you can access on our website. Go to brianformayor.london. We'll send you that swag, or just hashtag our stuff, share it on your social media, and we'll send you all that stuff out so you can represent. And I want to say a final shout out to all of the incredible volunteers, the Brian for Mayor Volunteer Army. And here's a quick picture of just some of them hanging out by the digital battle bus. And they are out there every single day, out there in every single borough of London, working tirelessly. I just want to send my big shout out of support. They are handing out manifestos. We are delivering 50,000 manifestos. That's more than it's ever been printed or handed out in the history of the London mayoral campaign. If you want to be a part of this incredible energy, do it right now, because there's not many days left. Go to brianformayor.london/volunteer. You can sign up immediately. You'll get in the Facebook group. You can literally be out meeting our bus today and helping us hand out leaflets and spreading this incredible message. I can't do this alone. I really need your help, and we couldn't be more excited. And so, just to finish up, also, we're very excited about the London Real Party, and this is what it looks like. This is a quick graphic of that London Real Party. And again, the London Real Party is finally a party for London. We've never seen this in the history. A party that represents London and Londoners. It stands for determination, innovation, perseverance, fortitude, and that indomitable spirit that we are famous for, world famous for. That's what this party stands for. And we're very excited to field 4 candidates for the next election, and you'll see them out there on the outdoor ads. A couple more things. You can order stickers now. Go to brianformayor.london/stickers. Order those, and of course, hashtag Brian for Mayor, anything you see out there. All right, let's get into these questions, but first I want to hear from you. Leave me a question right now, because I'm going to answer these later. What borough do you live in? What's your single biggest challenge, and what question would you like to ask me when you see me? Second, answer this honestly. Do you object to the fact that we were not included in the BBC debate or the ITV debate? Do you object to that? And tell me how you feel about it. Number 3, have you read our detailed manifesto for the future, and who do you plan to vote for on May 6th? And finally, do you think we need to break up the two-party system with an independent voice, fresh ideas, in order to take London in a new direction? And that's what I want to ask you now. And I want to answer some of the questions right now that are very, very important. And these were asked during the mayoral debates. And let's just be open and honest here. I was not invited to the recent BBC mayoral debate. We were in touch with the BBC. They featured some of our content. They featured what was going on. And we really wanted to be a part of this to show how qualified we are as a candidate. And of course, we were very saddened to realize on Sunday that we were not included in the BBC debate, even though all the major odds makers in the world think we're in second place. People on the streets think that we have a seat at the table, and a lot of people in London believe we will be the next mayor of London. And so what I decided to do was to go ahead and answer these questions anyways. And even though the BBC and the ITV don't believe that we should be at those debates, I do. And again, I continue to be unimpressed with the other candidates, with their policies, and with the answer to these questions. So I thought I would answer them myself. And I want to start with 2 questions. There were a total of 6 questions, and these were asked by Londoners. And I want to give you my answers, because these are the policies that will actually make a difference in London, and they were created with knowledge and passion, and I want to give them to you now. So the first question that was asked on the BBC debates was this: what will you do to overcome knife crime? And it's a great question. It's a great question that the mayor should spend time answering, because his record on knife crime for the past 5 years is nothing worse than horrific. It's at nightmare proportions. Knife crime and violent crime is up 28.5% on his watch. And if you choose 3 more years of Mayor Khan, it's going to continue to go up. And we deserve better. Londoners deserve better. And that's why I have a 2-pronged solution to really defeat knife crime. The first, and I put this out in my manifesto, is 10,000 new officers on the streets. And I know how to pay for it. That's £300 million that's going to be paid for with my infrastructure levy. No other candidate knows how to pay for it. A lot of other candidates throw numbers out, but they haven't been speaking with metropolitan police officers behind the scenes, senior levels, and they don't have the solutions that I have. So it's 10,000 new officers on the street. But not just that, it's better trained officers, and it's a fully digitized police force. And these better trained officers are going to give the frontline officers 2 days a month where they can engage in community-based training. And that means they can work with the communities to make sure they can better train these new officers in things like stop and search, which communities know they need to keep them safe, but right now believe they're being done in a disrespectful manner or not in a great manner We want to better train and educate these police when it comes to stop and search, when it comes to domestic violence calls, when it comes to even online hate crime calls. They need more training and more education. That is the way forward, and that is the way of the future. But we also need police that are from the communities. So if you want to police in Croydon, you should be from Croydon, and you should represent the people in the community from their race, their religion, their ethnicity. And by giving them more police and more funding, that's exactly how I'm going to do that. I'm also going to make sure that police are stationed at mini hubs located in places like community centers, so there'll be a constant presence on the streets. And that's one of the ways they're going to fight gang crime. One of the officers in the street said, Brian, if you give me 10,000 officers, I can reduce gang crime by 90%. Just having a presence on the streets is what we need to do to show them what's going on. But that same officer also said, Brian, we can't only police our way out of knife crime. We need support. And that's why I was just speaking with Matthew Barber at Urban Hope there in Islington. And I said, Matthew, I'm going to give you £100 million per year coming straight from corporates. It's my Corporates for Communities program. Companies like Uber, Amazon, HSBC, Barclays are going to cut checks and make sure you have £100 million per year going into 250 community centers across every single borough of London. I said, how could you use £400,000 this year? His eyes lit up. He said, Brian, you know what I could do? I could get more youth workers. I could deliver so much better quality service to the youth. I could probably help every single youth in this borough. This would be amazing. And I said, I'm going to make it happen, and it's going to come from corporates. So the mayor won't spend your money yet again. He won't defund your youth centers. He won't close them down again. And this is my two-pronged approach to solving knife crime. This will work, period. No other candidate has a process that's going to work or a policy, and none of them have track records that work. The current mayor has failed. The Conservative candidate is complicit in that failure, as are the Lib Dem and Green candidates. They sit on the same Greater London Assembly. They sign off on each other's failures. They give you an illusion of choice every 4 years, and I find that totally unacceptable. Next question that was asked on the BBC, and it was this. It said, apart from increasing policing, what are you going to do to invest to prevent gender-based violence, especially domestic violence? And this is a very good point, and it's something I've thought very seriously about, and that's why I cover it specifically here. And I'm going to go to the page inside the manifesto where I talk about this really important point. And it all starts with something that I call the Victims' Bill of Rights. And this is something that hasn't really been talked about much. And you can find this on page 16 of my manifesto for the future. And it's all down here in black and white. And by the way, this was worked on and developed with help from people in the communities and people from the police. And it's the Victim Bill of Rights. And you can see that every victim has the right to information, protection, participation, and restitution. And this is going to send a signal that we take a holistic view on crime. And it's going to make sure that the victim, the education, and the behavior is at the heart of our criminal justice system. And it's outrageous to me that a woman walking around London can feel terrified, unsafe, and feel hassled on our streets. It's unacceptable. You know, that my wife might have to go through that my 17-year-old daughter might have to feel that way on the streets of this city that I call home. Unacceptable. And so we have to make sure that that is seen as committing a crime if we are harassing people like that on the streets in any capacity. And it is also going to be fortified by the Victims' Bill of Rights. And criminals are going to know that you're going to have to be held accountable throughout the entire process, including restitution at the end. If you decide to commit such a crime, you're going to hear from the victim on a regular basis. You're going to hear from the community, and you're going to have to really think about your behavior. It's not a ticket that gets written. It's not some time that you serve in jail. This is an entire 360-degree look, and it all comes from the Victims' Bill of Rights. But it doesn't stop there. The police need better training when it comes to this, and especially that means those domestic violence calls. A lot of times they don't understand the dynamics. They're complicated. They don't understand the fact that sometimes you need to de-escalate situations and sometimes you need to escalate those situations. And again, I've spoke with this in detail about my family first policy and family hubs, and I've got an entire policy on my website about this called Family First, of how we can use these ideas to actually strengthen the family structure and make sure that law enforcement and our domestic services help that family structure. And I've had some incredible conversations on my show, London Real, with Lord Michael Farmer and the incredible work he's doing to try to help the family structure and to make sure that the police are educated enough to make sure they can support those family interactions and support those domestic violence calls. But again, it comes with not vilifying our police, but actually investing in our police. And I just traded a text message today with a senior member of the Metropolitan Police, and he said, Brian, we've nearly had enough with the current mayor. He sells us out whenever he can. He vilifies us on social media. And yet then behind the scenes, he tries to get us to be available for his photo opportunities to show that he cares about policing. It's unacceptable. And this is what I see always from the mayor. He is duplicitous. He says one thing and does another thing. He's not allowed to go out in public because he'll literally have to run and hide when it comes to being confronted by the citizens of London. I will support the police. They have a difficult job. They need to be held accountable, but they need better training and more funding. And they need to work with the communities to make sure they do their job better. We can all be better. And that's one of my pledges to you as your next mayor of London. So I want to go to your questions, and then I'll answer the 4 other questions that were on the debate. Already now you can see my questions were clearly 3 or 4 times better than the drivel that came out of those other candidates. But again, we'll have to let the BBC know that we should be included in the next phase of those debates if they exist. Right now, answer questions from me. These are all coming right to my iPad. What borough do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What city do you live in? What's the question you want to ask me when I visit? Next, do you object to the fact that we weren't included in the BBC or the ITV debates? Third, have you read my detailed policies in the manifesto, and who will you vote for on May 6th? And finally, do you think it's time that we break the two-party system with an independent voice, fresh ideas, and take London in a new direction? I'm going to your questions now. As usual, there's literally hundreds of these things, and I so much appreciate the support. People don't understand the power of a digital battle bus. And by the way, I just want to say, this is a digital battle bus. There are people out there that seem to be pawning off copies of what this is a mobile broadcasting studio that's been on the ground for the past 4 months. It's traveled over 5,000 miles. This is a digital battle bus, and that's why we can do these conversations today. First, I want to go to our website. I got Martin in Richmond upon Thames that says, hi guys, I have a big scaffolding up on a South Circular Road in SW14. Can put Brian's banner for his campaign if you provide some. Excellent stuff, Martin. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. I'm gonna send you over some posters right now, Martin. I keep seeing them all around London. I keep seeing them in people's windows. Obviously, we're on billboards. Obviously, we're on digital media. So I'm gonna send you those out. I appreciate it, Martin. And anybody else who's got a manifesto or who's got a copy of a leaflet, stick it out in your window. Take a picture of it. Put it on your social media. We can win this, but it means we're all gonna have to work tirelessly right up until May 6th. Tell your friends, have the conversation, and let's move this forward. I appreciate you, Martin. I got Jack in Hillingdon, asked via the website, how can I get a mug? They look so good, and I love the cause. That's fantastic. These are available exclusively right now to anybody who wants to join our campaign. So go to brianformayor.london/volunteers. We'll send you one of these out. Also, take pictures of all of our assets out there and hashtag Brian for Mayor, and we'll send you out some swag as well. But right now, we really need volunteers to help us deliver these manifestos, have conversations with people on the streets. This is the time. The next 6 days are absolutely crucial. A couple more questions on Instagram. I got Harry Wins, who says, love you, Brian. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I got Eric Sanchez on Instagram, says simply, freedom fighter. Wow. That's an honor to have that title, and that does feel what it's like what we're doing here. We are fighting for your freedoms. Your freedom of speech, your freedom of assembly, your freedom to free and fair elections, and that's what we want to do out here. So I appreciate you. I got MCZ on Instagram, says, this is a real leader who cares about the people and growth of a city. The opposition are scared, unquote. MC, they are scared. And that's why they won't invite me to the debates. That's why they won't dare mention me when they're out there campaigning, because they know I am the candidate that's going to beat them. You know it, I know it, and they know it too. And that's why we see the dithering. That's why we see the fear creeping up in the Labour mayor's campaign, because he's now starting to realize that, wait a second, I might have to get a real job on May 8th, and I don't know what I'm going to do. All I know how to do is this press release thing, and he's getting nervous. So let's make sure that he gets a new job on May 8th when the results come out, and we couldn't be more excited. I've got Don't Panic 2025 or 2015 on Instagram, says, hello, Brian, go, 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 you've got this, thank you. I got Hobo HMC on IG that says, we need good luck with the election. Let's start in London, then we go for the rest of the cities. You're an inspiration for all of Europe. Thank you, Hobo, I appreciate. And this is why we're getting global coverage on this campaign, because the world is seeing what we're doing in London, and they can see London is poised to become the greatest city in the world. They can see, with Brian Rose as mayor, we will take over. We'll have the best economy. We'll have the best arts, culture, innovation, technology, the best spirit, and we're going to have the best year financially that we've ever had. We'll have the best financial district, the best media. That's what they can see, and they're thinking, wow, we better pay attention to what they're doing or we're going to get lost behind. And so the whole world is watching this race. They're watching how an independent voice is going to take a city in a new direction, and we couldn't be more proud. So thank you for realizing that and seeing that. We got Allison Jane Tripney on Instagram says, the finish line is in sight. Keep at it, sir. And it's true. I got a little electronic Post-it note in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen on my computer at work, and it's been the number of days until election. And when we started this, it was over 200. That's how long we've been working on this campaign. And this morning it said 6. And sometimes I do a double take because I remember it saying 66 and 166. We have been out there in the trenches fighting for Londoners for the past 7 months. We've been out there having those conversations with you, showing up at your neighborhoods, listening, learning, working knowledge on May 6th, and that's why we're going to win. We couldn't be more excited. So the finish line is there. Let's make it all happen. I got Ashish Sharma on YouTube says, love your bus and your style. Thank you so much. We got Pinky Pink on Instagram says, our future mayor. Let's make this happen. We got Nilius Menzies on YouTube says, Brian for mayor. He looks better than the USA president. LOL. Brian is a man of action compared to others who only talk. Thanks, Nilius, and hopefully you're seeing that. That's what we do here. We take action. We put real ideas on the line. You know, we're not always right, but we're always moving forward. We're always learning. We're always listening, and we're always serving. That's what we do. And so you're going to see a lot of action coming from me as your next mayor of London, and I appreciate you seeing that. We're going to get results, and we're going to hold people accountable to those results. Otherwise, they get eliminated. That's our new way. No more excuses. That's what you get with Brian Rose as your next mayor. No more excuses. We're tired of 5 years of excuses. It's always someone else's fault. It's Boris Johnson's fault. It's COVID's fault. It's always someone else's fault. No more excuses. When I'm your next mayor, we're going to get solutions. We're going to hold people accountable, and we are going to win as a city. That I promise you. We've got Ben LOFC on YouTube says, as mayor, how do we reinstate freedom of speech again in the UK and ensure the mainstream media represent truth? Great question, Ben. And again, I just want to notice the beautiful view here. I'm going by West Ham Stadium, going by Olympic Park. This is a beautiful city. So just shout out to London right now. Let's talk about freedom of speech. As you know, the last year, I put everything on the line to fight for your freedom of speech, not just in public, but also your digital freedom of speech. We put everything on the line. 9 years of broadcasting, my entire business, my reputation. We fought back against the big boys. It was David versus Goliath. I went head to head with YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is owned by Alphabet, one of the biggest companies in the world. And we said it's not acceptable to try to violate my human right for freedom of speech, and we fought back. And again, we put everything on the line. We got a lot of critics at the same time, but we got a lot of supporters that thought we were right. It's your right as a human being to have freedom of speech and to listen to someone's opinion, and you be the judge. And so as your next mayor of London, and it's right here in my detailed manifesto, freedom of speech. It's a big, big part of my manifesto, and it's one of my little pamphlets here. That's my housing policy. It's all in here. And so freedom of speech is here. We're going to be going forward, and also your freedom to protest needs to be respected. I'm not very impressed lately with some of the moves made in the parliament in this country that don't allow you to peacefully protest. Something's wrong with that. These are basic human rights. When we lose them, bad things happen, and I will not let that happen on my watch. So great question. I've got Esther Windsor on Instagram says, gratitude to you, Brian, and your amazing team. Thank you. I got Long Jail on Instagram says, I got my whole family to vote for Brian. Thank you. We've got Christiana De Amorim on Instagram says, you got my vote. I've had so many people that have come up and said, I already voted for you by post. My 20-member family has voted for you. I love this. I love the big families. I got Ninon on Instagram said, I'd be so happy to see the back of Sadiq Khan. You and me both, that's for sure. And most of London as well. The Latino Shade Room on Instagram says, I am voting and my whole family are voting for you, Brian, all in caps. Thank you, Latino. I appreciate the all caps. A couple more here before I get into the next questions. I got Papa Pico on Instagram says, shake the ground under their feet. That's what we need. The whole place needs a cleaning. We need to really clean things out, shake things up, and make sure we're making the right decisions. We got Dane Walker on Instagram says, Sadiq is a clown. Brian for mayor, baby. I'll say that again. Sadiq is a clown. Brian for mayor, baby. I like that, Dane. And we got Melissa Misud on Instagram says, voted for you. Look at these votes. They're tallying up. So we know we are way, way ahead in this race. and we've just got to move it in for the next big win, and we're super excited. All right, let me get back to the questions. And again, these were the questions asked by the BBC, but I wasn't invited. And so I want to give you the questions that I would have answered, and I'm telling you, I would have loved to be in that room because I would have rattled this policy off, and there are other candidates, they probably would have been dumbfounded. They probably couldn't have even answered because they would have clearly seen our policies are so much better than theirs. They probably would have taken our policies the next day. And I have seen a lot of candidates literally take our policies straight from our manifesto and call them their own. And you know what? If that's the way that they want to run their campaigns, that's their business. I don't do that. I create things myself, and I put them out there myself, and I stand behind these policies. And you can always tell whose policy is who when you ask them the hard questions, because you can see who actually created it from scratch, and I stand behind these policies 100%. So the third question on the BBC debate was this. I live in a crowded flat, and I'm on a waiting list with 14,000 other people, so it's quite hard to get a bigger flat, asking how you provide more homes. And so, again, if you look at the other candidates that were on that debate, they all have some story about how they're going to build more affordable homes. They all have a way, and they all have a big number of homes they're going to build. But let me ask you a question. Each one of those people sits on the Greater London Assembly. Each one of those people has been part of trying to build homes for London over the past 10 years. Where are the homes? That's what I want to know. And so it's time to stop talking about building homes and to actually build homes. And that's where my solution of building 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas comes into play. And I had the place marker on my book here. I'm going to pull it up now. This is an actual mock-up of the modular homes I'm going to build. This is a location in Hackney, Wick. This was created for me by one of the top architects in London, who's been working with me behind the scenes for 6 months, donating his time, his firm's time, to create something called modular housing. These are incredible, beautiful, customized homes. And let me say something about these homes that the other candidates don't know much about, because again, they don't really understand what it takes to build homes. These can be custom built for 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, all the way up to 6 different people. I'm going to build 50,000 of these new homes in boroughs throughout London on land already owned by TfL within weeks after they've been designed. And this is the difference between our policies and their policies. 50,000 new homes by Christmas this year. That will be quadruple the number of homes the mayor has built. I will have built in 5 months where they had 5 years to build. And again, the mayor back in 2016 promised 400,000 new homes. He's only built 12,000. Modular homes is the solution. And if you look at the stats that the current mayor puts out, they've built some homes. They're usually 1 person, 1 bedroom homes that do not solve the needs of Londoners. I am here to provide a customized modular solution to families here in London. And this is going to provide housing to everyone out there. And I'm talking about key workers like firefighters, nurses, and educators. These homes will be available for them. 50,000 this year, another 100,000 per year following that. These are affordable, all costing less than £100,000 each. They're environmentally friendly. They can be designed, customized, and built within weeks. This is an incredible, incredible innovation. And it's something, quite frankly, that shocked me that it hasn't been done before. But it just goes to show you there's no innovation from this 2-party system. They would never create it. And for me, I don't want to stop there. I want to take 5,700 acres of TfL-owned land, and I want to separate it out into a separate development corporation. I want to use that to build more affordable homes and to make sure that we can then run TfL at a profit. And lastly, I want to go in and find out what happened to the £4.8 billion given to the mayor by the national government to build affordable homes. Where is it, and where are those homes? These are my questions. And again, I just want to say, it's time to stop talking about building homes, and it's time to actually start building them. I want to prove a point to Londoners by building 50,000 new homes by Christmas of this year. We can do it. It's going to happen right here. Just give me the chance, and I'm going to provide the homes needed for this person asking the question and for so many Londoners out there as well. Let me get to the third question, and that is this. What support would you provide to help small businesses recover? This is an excellent question, and I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a small business, and 98% of the GDP in London comes from small and medium-sized enterprises. I'm talking about the black cabbie, the pub owner, the restaurant owner, the tailor like John Kent who makes my suits. These are small businesses who have been hung out to dry during this pandemic. They've had no support from the government, and we need to save them now. And so I would do three things immediately. First of all, I would have a 6 months business rate holiday. They cannot pay taxes while they're trying to barely survive and also employ people. Next, I want to abolish the congestion charge until 2022. I want to get as many people inside of London spending money to support these businesses that are barely surviving. A lot of them are barely hanging on. They need business now. But there's an even bigger play. And this comes with a big vision, and that is my great celebration. 31 days of street fairs and music festivals, 20 million people safely coming to London to celebrate the best of what we do. Music, culture, art, technology, innovation, even fashion. We're going to show it off to the world and say London is back in business. We are going to lead the world when it comes to a recovery, and we're going to pull in all the tourism business from around the world and just show everyone our indomitable spirit, that we're ready for business. And I couldn't be more excited to really kickstart this with the great celebration. And finally, I want to say this. I am the only candidate with 30 years of business experience. 30 years. I've worked in automotive, aerospace. I worked on Wall Street. I worked in the City of London. I've worked in new media. I've worked in digital education. I know how to run a business. I know how to kickstart business. I know how to hold people accountable. And in my world, you either deliver value to your customer or you get eliminated. And the Mayor of London should constantly deliver value to the citizens of London. Sadiq Khan does not. He fails Londoners on a regular basis. And in my world, you either do it right or you get eliminated. It's time to eliminate him, and I'm going to deliver value for Londoners, and I can't wait to get started. So I want to go back to questions for you, and then want to finish off, of course, with those last 4 questions from the BBC. Tell me, what borough do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? And what question would you like to ask me when I visit? Next, do you object to the fact that we weren't included in the BBC and ITV debates? Does it make you mad? Does it make you angry? Next, have you read our detailed policies in our manifesto? And who do you plan to vote for on May 6th? And finally, do you think it's time we break the two-party system with an independent voice, fresh ideas to take London in a new direction? And I'm going to go to some of your questions right now. Wow, we got a lot of people tuning in today, and it just goes to show you. Again, please share this video if you're watching. Give me a like on it. Leave me a comment right now, even if you haven't before. It'll really help us get this campaign going. A couple from our website as well. I got David on the website, says, I visit London a lot. I've spent quite a bit of time in London in my past. I would vote for you all day long if I lived in London. Brian and I have been following London Real for ages. Thanks for your positivity. Only a person who has experienced heroin addiction would understand the motivation, personal growth, and development required to carry this out and move on. It's because of this that I trust you, as you appear to have character, that born from adversity and inner strength. I believe in you and your manifesto. We can't really say this about those in office during these crazy, surreal times. I also appreciate your openness, and it feels like you are indeed real. All the best to you and your party, Brian. David, thank you so much. It means so much what you just said there. And if you don't know the story, David's referring to, you know, a lot of my challenges in the past. A lot of times I failed in the past, and I've been openly talking about that on London Real for the past 10 years. I've made documentary films about my life. I've interviewed over 1,000 of the greatest minds in the world and broadcast those ideas for free. They've been watched over 500 million times, and I'm here to tell you I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, but I learn from those mistakes, and it gives me the strength to move forward. You know, I've faced some adversity. I've been to some dark places, and I found the strength to continue to fight. And now when I have this incredible opportunity to change the city I love, to change the city that's given me everything, I'm all in. And you can see everything we do here is kind of 10x to the max, from our bus to our manifesto to our outdoor ads to these broadcasts. And it's because I know what it's like not to be able to contribute, and I'm so fortunate now, and so we're going hard into the future. So David, thanks for recognizing that. If people want to learn more about me, go watch my movie Iron Mind. It's on YouTube, Iron Mind, and you can learn all about my journey. I compete in an Ironman endurance race. I talk about my struggles with drug addiction, and it's an incredible way to get to know who I am. I'm not just some politician that shows up 3 weeks before an election and takes some pictures with the police, or take some pictures with some nurses, or take some pictures with people out in public. We see too much of that. You know, I don't just show up to a debate a couple weeks before, rattle off some policy that's 20 years old, and then try to get your vote. I've been here for 10 years, providing value to you in your life, serving London. I've been here for 6 months trying to figure out the problems that I can solve as your next mayor of London. People know that. And on May 6th, people are going to vote that way. And I appreciate that, David. So thank you so much. I got Nikki in Islington that says via the website, quote, big fan of yours, Brian. Way before you were running this campaign, I see you're heading to Islington Friday, April 30th. Would love to come and show my support. Where exactly will you be stopping and chatting to the public? Yeah, exactly. We were just there, Nikki. I think I might have saw you actually going by and shouting us out. I was over there seeing Matthew Barber, hanging out with the Urban Hope Community Center, talking about those issues that are so important. We're going to be coming back to Islington. You can also come over to Hackney as well. We're going to be next week. If you want to know our bus schedule, go to brianformayor.london/bus, I think it is, or go to the top nav bar, and you can see exactly where I'm going to be. Come out and see me, get your support, take a selfie with me, grab some manifestos, volunteer, and help us. And I really appreciate that. And thanks so much for the support, Nikki. All right, going over to Instagram and YouTube, and there's a lot of comments here. I might get through all of them, I might not, but I got Bactino Mad on Instagram says, congratulations on the future win. Thank you. I got Princess Genovia on YouTube says, I hope you win. I got Halium Cullen on IG that says, I am 38 and voting for the first time. You have my vote. This is the vote that matters, people. Thank you, Haley. I appreciate you. A lot of people are voting for the first time. A lot of people that would have ignored politics are excited because of us, and that makes me feel great. You know, I got teenagers the other day that are shouting my name. I had like even younger kids, like 10, 12 years old, that are shouting my name. Hey, Brian for mayor, Brian for mayor. So obviously we're getting them interested in politics, and that makes you happy. So thanks so much. I got Erica Madengo on Instagram says, you will win. Thank you. I got Where is Patman on Instagram says, big up, Brian. Jonathan Jimenez says, Brian, you will be the mayor for the city of London. Amazing. Gloria Gold saying, you are amazing. I got Sean Frosto on Instagram says, Los Angeles loves you. Spirit Dancer on Instagram says, big ups from Australia. Hope the good people of London support your cause. It's disgraceful that your campaign is being ignored. Thank you. Again, the global support we have is amazing. Laura West says, I think you should have been included in the debates. Go to the BBC right now and tell them. Go to that video and leave them a comment right now. Go to the Mayor of London's Instagram feed right now and say, when will you debate Brian Rose? And tag me at The Real Brian Rose on Instagram. Go to his Twitter feed right now and say, when will you debate Brian Rose? That's the simple question. Ask the mayor, ask the BBC. There's still time left. I've been saying this since January. Sadiq Khan, I will debate you anyhow, anywhere, anytime. Send me the Zoom link, we can do it. I'll meet you out in person. I'll come over to City Hall. We can do it on your mainstream media channel of choice. Whichever ones that always have your back, I'll show up there. I'll go into dangerous territory. I don't mind. I'll debate you. So ask the mayor that question. I'm still waiting for an answer. If not, mayor, maybe we can have a swimming contest or a breakdancing contest or a boxing contest. Whatever you want to do, let's get out there and go head to head and let the voters decide. That's what we're looking for. A couple more questions. We got Priscilla that says, you're the man. I've got Miles NG that says, I guess that's why we call it the biggest upset in British political history, because they think ignoring you will make you fail, but they aren't ready for what's coming. I read Sadiq's 2016 manifesto. It's incredible how many things he didn't achieve. All of it is what he said, and LTNs weren't in it at all, unquote. Miles, you said it perfectly. If you go back to what he promised in 2016, and we hoped he would deliver these things. There was so much hope for Sadiq in 2016, and yet he failed on every single one of his promises, and he introduced LTNs on top of that that make everyone angry in those neighborhoods, and they increase emissions, increase journey times, and raise fines for people. I'm telling you, they think they're ignoring us. They think that maybe not including us in a debate is going to work, but it won't, because our views, our interaction, our social, it's bigger than the debate anyways. So we're going to move forward. Great observation. I appreciate you bringing that up. I got Al Bolingbrook on Instagram says, will you squash the ULEZ expansion if you are elected? It's killing ordinary car owners. The answer is yes. The ULEZ and the congestion charge needs to absolutely be completely reduced and also brought in. Those things are being used right now to pay for the mayor's bankrupt transportation system. And let's just be clear, it was going bankrupt long before COVID hit. And he increases your congestion charge and your ULEZ charge to pay for his own failures. I see a TfL running at a profit. This is done in Hong Kong and Tokyo. And when you get my business mind around TfL, it's going to be making money, which means we can cut the ULEZ, we can cut the congestion charge, and find more intelligent ways of reducing emissions in this city. I want to have an all-electric center of London, which I'm going to talk about shortly, and we don't need to tax citizens in order to do that. So thank you so much. I got Antonio saying, open London back, Brian Rose. That's my plan. I've got Roxy on YouTube says, I saw you at London Fields. I was there Thursday talking to journalists from the Times. Yes, we've been getting some great coverage from mainstream media, and we appreciate it, but we still need your help out there in the digital world, because that's where the change is going to come from. I got Renegade Farm says on Instagram, if Boris and Sadiq won't battle you in a debate, you should battle them on the dance floor. Thank you, Renegade. I'm waiting for that B-boy challenge from the mayor, but I don't want him to hurt himself either. You know, these guys, they're actually older than me, I think, but you know, they don't look like they move very well. They don't seem like they care about their health. They don't seem very passionate about their lives. They're career politicians. So again, we can do that anytime, anywhere, but I don't expect it. I got Techno Shaman on Instagram who says, we love you in Toronto. We are with you. And I've also been told we're going to be going by one of our digital sites soon, so we'll try to give that a shout out when we do. All right, last two questions that I want to talk to you about what was brought up in the Brian mayoral debate. And again, these are the questions that they were too scared to ask me. And I'm going to give you those answers right now. So the final two questions, well, this is one that it's about transport. And this came from a cabbie, and it said, what is your vision to make our London work again? And they were specifically talking about congestion. Well, let me tell you about taxis. On Tuesday of this week, I was given a state-of-the-art London electric black taxi cab. And I was given the driver's seat of that taxi, and I drove the cabbie in the back throughout London. And one of our first journeys was to go from Old Street over to London Bridge. And we did it via Bishopsgate. And I got a first-hand experience of how the current mayor of London is ruining the roads, is ruining our transport infrastructure, and is completely selling out an incredible industry that is the taxi cab drivers. He's making it nearly impossible for drivers to get on the roads. He is increasing congestion, traffic, emissions, and he's doing it all because he thinks you'll buy it as a green initiative. It's actually, as I said, increasing journey times. It's increasing emissions because of idling vehicles. And I got a real experience what it felt to be a very frustrated taxi driver who provided incredible service for this city. They spend 3 or 4 years on the knowledge. They have upgraded to an electric taxi because the mayor asked them to, and then they can't afford to pay for it because of his illegal street space scheme that he pushed through during COVID that's now been struck down by the High Court, and yet he's appealing it and causing us taxpayers millions of pounds of money just to do so. It's unacceptable. We have to support the taxi drivers. We've got to make sure London is moving again. The mayor has ruined that, and his street space schemes and his low traffic neighborhoods are just examples of the fact that he's completely out of touch with real Londoners. He sits on his top floor in City Hall in his glass building. He refuses to come out on the streets. When he does go out on the streets, like he did in Enfield recently, he was confronted by 5 members of Enfield who demanded some answers about their low traffic neighborhood. The mayor had to run and hide from the citizens of London. He locked himself in a coffee shop for an hour until his security team got there, and then he had to run from the people as they escorted him into his armor-plated vehicle, where he was sent back to City Hall and he's in the streets because the citizens hate him and his policies so much, because he's ruining our neighborhoods with his low traffic neighborhoods, his extended congestion charges, his ULEZ charges, and his LTNs that charge Londoners millions of pounds of fines during one of the biggest recessions in 300 years. It's terrible what he's doing to this city. London has to move if London wants to be in business and want to get back to work. The taxi drivers know this. I know this because I take a taxi cab home every single night, and I've spent time out there in this transport infrastructure. And again, I drove a taxi for an hour on Tuesday, and I know how terrible the roads are, and it's all Sadiq Khan's fault. He's making this city congested with traffic. He's charging us unfair taxes that, by the way, tax the poor more than they tax the rich. And he's coming up with these ridiculous schemes like his Silvertown Tunnel that's going to cost £2 billion. It's a vanity project for him that's going to bring more cars in the center of London and make this a more congested place. It's ridiculous. He needs to be thinking towards the future. He needs to think about how we can fix the Hammersmith Bridge that's going to require only a fraction of that, some £100 million that I can find from my infrastructure levy to open up, again, a major artery that's going to make this city move faster. I understand that if we don't get London moving, we have no hope for our economy. And I appreciate that question, and I want to support taxi drivers. I want to support people that drive in London, and I envision a London of the future that is electric in its center, that only supports electric vehicles, that are low on emissions, that gets rid of street parking for cars. And it is an incredible place for commerce, for tourism, for clean air. And that's what I see in the future. And I see a place where we can move around this city with ease, and that's going to promote commerce and promote business. So it's a great question, and I appreciate that question. And the last question that came on the BBC debate was this: how would you create an innovative, greener London of the future? And one of the ways I address my green policies is I mention in my manifesto that green policies are throughout every single thing I do. And I think gone are the times where you have a green party or a green policy where you just tack on something at the end to make sure that everyone thinks you're environmentally friendly. We see this with the mayor. He puts in bike lanes and says, look what I did. I'm good for the environment, when they increase emissions. He says, oh, look what I did with the LTNs. It's green friendly, when actually those increase journey times. With me, everything I do is through a green initiative. So digitizing the police has ramifications for our environment. Modular homes are environmentally friendly. And also, my way of doing induction wireless charging of electric vehicles is an extremely environmentally friendly way to create what I call central London being the only electric-only metropolis in the world. So imagine the center of our city, electric-only vehicles that are charged while in motion via this induction wireless charging method, without any other street parking or cars in that area. Imagine what the emissions would be like. Imagine what that does for our health. I train outdoors almost every other day. Imagine what that meant for our clean air and for the clean air for our children. And so everything I do is looked at through the lens of being green, and it's baked into all of my policies and all of my thought process. And again, this is what makes me different. I don't have some one single policy that looks good on a press release. It's throughout all of my policies, and everything I do is through that in green initiative. And so I couldn't be more proud to take that office and to become your next mayor of London and to show these incredible ideas and these incredible policies. And again, it's all there in my manifesto. And so I just want to say to the BBC right now, you're welcome to take the video that I just created. You can splice it up if you want and put those questions in there. You can publish this on your YouTube channel to give the citizens of London what they deserve, which was me present at those debates. So you're welcome to have that video footage. You're also welcome to invite me to the next debate. Go to brianformayor.london. You can get in contact with my people. And again, I would love to participate and actually give the voters what they want, get the citizens what they want. You charge them a television license to create media that's supposed to inform them, and yet you won't invite on the candidate who's been in second place for the past 6 years. It doesn't make sense. It's not correct. And again, go speak to the BBC now. Go speak to the current mayor of London and say, when will you debate Brian Rose? Because we're all curious for that as well, and we all want to find out. All right, last part for your questions. This is your last chance. If you've never asked me a question, this is the time to do it. Tell me, what borough do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What's the question you'd like to ask me? Next, are you upset they didn't include us in the debates and also on ITV as well? Third, have you read our detailed manifesto, and who will you vote for on May 6th? And finally, do you think it's time that we break the two-party system with an independent voice, fresh ideas, and take London in a new direction? This is your last chance to ask me a question. If you've never done it before, leave me a question right now. Like the video, share the video with some of your networks. That would be amazing. I want to take one from the website before we get to the rest. And I got Karen in Enfield, and we were just there recently in Enfield. This is where the mayor ran and hid from citizens. And she says, quote, will you remove the LTNs? They have and are causing so much distress. I know 2 people who are moving out of London because of them. So sad. Also, Sadiq Khan is now threatening to change the names of some streets and even our tube stations to remove our heritage. He hates London. He is destroying our wonderful black cabs. People come from all over the world to ride in them. Please save London and maintain our wonderful heritage, unquote. Karen, there's a lot of questions there, but there's some very important questions as well. First of all, LTNs. They were created with no consultation with the stakeholders. The mayor on his 7th floor of his glass office decided that he would just bequeath the LTNs to all of the people. And I've been on the streets of Enfield. I've been down in Southwark. I've been in Islington. And I've had to talk to some very angry citizens about what he's done. And I said, did the mayor ever consult with you? No. Did he consult with the businesses? No. Did he consult with the emergency services that now can't drive and pick up people that are having heart attacks. Nope, he never did. That's the problem with the current mayor. He doesn't consult. And so I want to rethink all LTNs, and I want to re-envision them, because I think they're incorrect by the way they've been approached. But you also mentioned something else. Sadiq Khan now decides to create committees to rename statues and rename different tube stops. That's not what we need right now. We need to run TfL at a profit. It's billions of pounds going into bankruptcy that he has to ask the national government for, and he wants to rename a tube stop? Our children are being stabbed on the streets, and he wants to try to change the name of something? This is a mayor who has missed his priorities, but he's playing to your emotions because he's trying to get you emotive and angry. And so he's playing to that to get your vote on May 6th. He's trying to get you angry at the Tory party, right? That's how you're going to vote for him. That's ridiculous, and you are smarter than that. I know you are. Sadiq Khan thinks that you're stupid. And so he plays to these emotional topics, and he thinks when he introduces them 7 days before an election that you'll vote for him. I believe that you're intelligent and you can understand nuance and you can understand detail, which is why I'm not going to play with those tactics. I'm going to give you real policy, real solutions, backed up by data and my personal track record for the past 10 years and for 30 years as a businessman. So I appreciate that. A couple final questions I want to do before we sign off here. I got Cleal on Instagram says, Brian is humble and listens. Thank you, sir. I actually am. People see the suits and the billboards, but actually when I get out in public, you'll realize I zip it. I want to listen to you because that's how I learn. My mom taught me a long time ago, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should use them in that order. So my job is to listen. Most of the time I am, and that's how I can talk with such authority, because I've listened to you. So thank you. I got Wilhelm Hardem on Instagram says, Brian, why doesn't any of the news outlets actually talk about you? It's shocking. And it's a great question, Willem. It's not from lack of trying. My entire team creates incredible ideas and stories and policies. We hit them with every single day. Some they print, some they ignore. They're used to the two-party system. It's what makes them money. And so, you know, that's why we're here on digital platforms. That's why we need your help as well. So please share this on your social. Come volunteer and help us give these leaflets out, because, yes, all of the mainstream media is used to the two-party system, and they inherently support it whether they know it or not. We've got to break through. So thank you. I got Janset Music on Instagram says, hello, Brian. Got my manifesto in the post. Awesome, Janset. Read it, share it, take pictures of it, put it on your social platforms. It's an amazing document. We're super proud of it. I got Lottie Martin on YouTube says, small businesses need support, and that's what I'm going to do with the great celebration. Business rates to zero, abolish the congestion charge. It's so very important. Sandy Beach on Instagram says, I need a manifesto. Go to brianformayor.london/manifesto. You can download it digitally. You can read it digitally, and we'll even send you one in the mail. I got Ivan Annie on YouTube says, representing the Brian for Mayor Army in Bulgaria. We appreciate you. We got people in countries all around the world. I got people in Bulgaria, Bangladesh, Bombay, Brazil, everywhere. Everyone's supporting this campaign. We got media from around the world that's covering us, and we couldn't be more happy. So thank you so much for that. I got Phoenix Starborn on YouTube that says, big support from Australia, Brian. Much love. I got Papa Pico on Instagram says, Sadiq is scared of the rose. I think Sadiq is scared of the rose, and that's why he's refusing to debate me. He's refusing to breakdance me. He's refusing to even mention my name. And I always find that kind of funny. And he's refusing to leave his office because he's too scared to come out with the citizens. And he doesn't want to have to run and hide again. So yes, Mr. Mayor, when will you debate me? I'm still waiting for your answer. A couple more here. I got Alex Lister on Instagram says, make London great again. That is the plan. I've got Gonkles83 on Instagram says, simply legend. I've got Sandra Lee on YouTube says, hello from Erie, Pennsylvania. You are an inspiration. Thank you, Sandra Lee. We got support from everywhere. We appreciate your support as well. Share this video. We could use all the support from around the world. Don't Panic 2015 on IG follows up the earlier question by saying London cab drivers are exceptional and we want all of them to be there for us. And I agree. I love them. They're entrepreneurs. They work hard. They create a business, and that's so very important. I've got NSPR on YouTube that says, I am nothing but impressed with your policies and passion for our great capital city, as well as your energy and dynamism. Your approach to affordable housing is first class. Never thought I would say this, but we totally need this Anglo-American to lead London as our Prime Minister too. London needs you, sir. And I really appreciate that comment. It means a lot to me. And you know, a lot of people call out my American accent, and I do have an American accent. I don't always say borough in the right way. And it's true, I was born on the sunny shores of California where there's sand and there's sun and there's surf. but I've lived here for over 21 years. London is my home, and I am a Londoner first and foremost. I'm a proud Brit with an American accent. This city flows through my veins. My children were born here. I've been a citizen for 14 years. I named my business after this city, and I plan to be buried in this incredible, incredible city. I am all in on London, and this is the least I can do. 6 months of my life is the least I can do to give back to this city and provide my ideas on the future, to try to get the younger generation involved, to try to help business, to try to build homes, to try to help our transport network. This is the least I can do. And I can't wait to do more. And let me say one more thing. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be giving back to London in a service role for the next 50 years until they put dirt on me and stick me in the ground. And I just want to tell you, this has been an important part of my journey. It's important that I continue to contribute to London, and I will be there every step of the way giving back to this city. On May 6th, we have an incredible, incredible opportunity to make London the greatest city in the world. We have a small window of time, about 6 months to play with, where the right leader can put us in the number one slot. It can make us the number one in financial capital. It can make us the number one capital that recovered the fastest. We can create the great celebration. We can show the world how well we can do. We can build the homes. We can run TfL at a profit. Or we can continue with 3 more years of business as usual. 3 more years of the worst recession in British history. 3 more years of the same mayor with his excuses, with his pop-up policies, with his lack of solutions and lack of accountability. I honestly think we've got a 6-month window. We can make this happen now, but you have to choose an independent voice, a new start, fresh ideas, and that means vote Brian for mayor. The London Real Party on May 6th. Tell your friends about it. Share it on social. Come give us these handouts. Yes, the mainstream media is ignoring us. That's why we've got to fight even harder. We're on the digital networks. People know we can do this. We have the ideas. We have the proof. We have the track record. Let's make this happen. So join me. It's going to be a great day next Thursday. Show up to the polls. Make sure you vote. Tell your friends and family to vote. Drag them along if you have to. Make sure it's Brian Rose, the London Real Party. I think I'm on the bottom of the ballot. They saved the best for last. So I'm right there in that bottom right-hand corner. Make that tick. You can walk out of there proud. And I really appreciate all the support. And we can't wait to get started and taking this city into the new direction. So great stuff from you. Go to our website for more updates. Come see me out on the road. Download the manifesto. Volunteer. Get your swag. And of course, share this video right now on your social platforms. Share it to your WhatsApp groups, your email addresses. This is how we're going to spread the word. And that's it, folks. It's another Battle Bus here in the can. I am Brian Rose, your next mayor for London. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your energy. May 6th, let's make British political history and let's upset the system. Let's bring in the independent voice, fresh ideas. Let's shake it up and let's take London in a new direction. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next broadcast. Take care.
My name is Brian Rose, and I plan to be your next mayor of London. I want to lead this incredible city in a new direction by rebuilding our broken economy, reducing the frightening levels of crime, building affordable housing, and fixing our broken transportation system. I love London. I love the people, the history, the spirit, the culture, the diversity. It embodies everything I hold dear in my heart. I believe it truly is the greatest city in the world. I have lived here for over 20 years. I became a British citizen in 2007. My 2 young boys were born here, and I plan on being buried in this great city. For the past 10 years, I've been the founder and host of London Real, my broadcasting and education platform with over 5 million subscribers and 500 million views. I have now decided to stand for Mayor of London because of one fundamental reason. I can no longer sit idly by and watch our current crop of politicians drive this incredible city into the ground. The current mayor has decimated our economy and failed to deliver on crime, housing, and transport. Now is the time for an independent voice and fresh ideas to lead London in a new direction. First, I will kickstart London's economy using my 30 years of industry experience to empower businesses to rebuild rapidly and safely. My proposed business rates and congestion charge holiday until the end of 2021 will maximize footfall in the city and help our economy rebound. Second, I will lower crime by investing in more police, better trained police, and the digitization of the police. This, combined with £100 million in corporate funding for 250 community centres across London, will give our young people the opportunities and support they need. Third, I will build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas 2021, utilizing land owned by TfL and modular building technology to quickly and efficiently deliver world-class affordable homes. Fourth, I will fix our bankrupt transportation system by properly developing TfL's vast land holdings and introduce an infrastructure levy to capture the billions of pounds of value created by the network. I would then rethink, remove, and reduce low-traffic neighborhoods and congestion charges. These issues are crucial to all Londoners, and every borough faces its unique challenges. Which is why I have traveled over 3,000 miles touring every single one of the 32 boroughs of London on my digital battle bus, while video live streaming my ideas directly to our citizens and listening to your detailed feedback. I have been overwhelmed by the incredible amount of support from real Londoners who love their city and simply want a better future for their friends, families, and communities. On my tour, I have learned three things. Londoners want change. Londoners want new ideas. Londoners want real leadership. Our great city now faces a critical fork in the road. On May 6th, your vote will decide what happens next in this most crucial time of our century. You can choose to have 3 more years of the same excuses, or you can choose to take London in a new direction with fresh ideas and an independent voice. We have the most incredible city in the world, and I promise to work tirelessly to make London a world-class city once again. I am confident that together we will accomplish our mission. On May 6th, vote for Brian Rose. A vote for change and a vote for the future.